Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ and My Hammers 11. Hope you're safe and well. If you're channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you don't miss any good content or any content we put out. It's all good anyway. I'd like to thank our channel sponsors on Tuck It. There they are. Check them out in the description below. So we have another Hammers, My Hammers 11 for you. I believe over 80 we've had, and this man is one of the most requested we've had. We've got this man coming on very, very soon.
That was decent, that is, isn't it?
Get a bit of a beat for you, Maz, because I think you're very must be tired. As I said, you're the busiest ex-professional I know. More miles than Lewis Hamilton. That's the thing.
Come on. Yeah, well, busy man. Try to be.
It makes the days go quicker though, doesn't it?
It does.
How are you, man? How's things in the Harewood household?
No, good, mate. Very good. Can't grumble, really. Everyone's well. Family's well. We've just gone from a mad, probably last year and a half. It's been quite crazy. But yeah, family's very well, thank you.
Brilliant. And it feels weird. We've had all this football, like we had the Premier League, we had the Euros, and then obviously we've still got the Olympics. And the season kicks off next week. What's going on with that?
I know, it's gone really quickly, hasn't it? Really quickly.
Manic.
But you can't grumble. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, and I think it's great because obviously the fans will be back. We'll have proper. It won't just be me on my Todd swinging around an empty stadium. There'll be 60,000 under the stadium.
Yeah, be interesting. Obviously, with West Ham now, the fans are back because they've gone with a season without fans, and they've done really, really well.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a bit of yin and yang. I think it's helped. It helped at the beginning, but at the end, I think if the fans would have given them that extra boost. But yeah, looking forward to it. And all the fans are clucking to get back as well, which is great. So. See, he's so busy, his phone goes off. He's such a busy man. But no, I think it's great, man. And hopefully, and obviously you had the big game yesterday on Sunday, the old for the Doms mission. That went well.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, it was good cause. Obviously, being an ambassador for them, I'll try and help them out as much as I can.
Yeah, totally, man. He's very, very good. And obviously AC13, manic.
Yeah, car company. Yeah, it's going really well. Thank you.
It's really good, man. Right, so what we like to do with these things, we like to find out about sort of obviously your time at West Ham. We do your 11. We've got a few questions from some of the viewers and stuff as well. But in terms of right at the beginning, Maz, right at the beginning, obviously, you signed in November, I think 2003 from Forest, £500,000. How did that all happen? Because that's what I find really interesting is how transfers happen from the players.
Yeah, God, you're asking the wrong person that, really. Because my agent would be the best person to ask about that. Because we had Nottingham Forest, we had a good year before that.
Yeah.
Almost, obviously, playoffs final. We got knocked out by Sheffield United. Well, I can vaguely remember them, and obviously came back in that season. And then West Ham, my agent said West Ham was interested. I was on my last year of my contract. I've been at Forest for so long, and I thought it was time for me to have a change, and especially when a club like West Ham come in for me, you can't really turn them things down. Obviously, being a London boy and knowing the history of West Ham, I just wanted to try and be part of that.
Yeah. And obviously, we've had people like Bobby on and various others. Obviously, Pards, he did he woo you?
He did woo me. He made me, as a player, 10 feet tall, gave me the confidence and everything like that, saying I'm going to be his number one. He's going to play me week in, week out. Obviously, as a player, that's what you want to hear. And obviously, going to West Ham and he's telling you that, then you can't really turn things like that down and what he wants to achieve, which was amazing.
Yeah. And obviously you sort of hit the ground running, really, to be honest. I mean, if I remember, and actually looking through sort of your, I think you scored a brace on your home debut, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's always a great thing to do. And then obviously then and we had sort of event, but then obviously, I mean, just that back we was in the championship, you were banging the goals in for fun. It seemed top goal scorers. I think 0405, you were top goal scorer, 24 goals or something like that.
You're picking me up. You're making me feel good.
That's the idea. I'm not going to come in and slag you off and go, yeah. We'll come to that later. We'll talk about the FA Cup later. So don't worry. No, I'm joking. And so, I mean, for you, it must have been like, because I think some people they move and they take time to blood in. But you literally hit the ground running straight away, wasn't it? What was it? Why did it just work?
Just at a time in my career, it was time for me to move, and the caliber of players I was playing with when I moved, obviously playing up front with Jermaine Defoe, you had Michael Carrick and Dunn Hutchison, and all them players at the club at the time. Obviously, they wanted to get back to the Premier League, so I was at a good time at a club, and that's where they wanted to be. And obviously I was scoring quite a few goals, so they needed a goal scorer to get back to the Premier League.
Yeah, and the first time didn't work so well. We got to the playoffs, lost to Palace. Do you know what? I still can't. When I used to do a little bit of DJing for my friends and family, like at weddings, people ask me to play Glad All Over. I still don't play it because I've just this vision of Cardiff, all those yellow shirts. It just winds me up, that song, so much. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was frustrating. But obviously, for you, obviously, you as a player, obviously, it's a horror. It's a great way to go up. It's a horrible way to not go up, if that makes sense. And obviously, you had both sides of the spectrum, so to speak. When you came back in the summer, after not going up, was it always right? This is it. We're going to do it again.
Well, to be fair, Pards recruited really, really well. Yeah. Our dressing room that year was incredible. We had some great players in there, and we just formed a really good bond with each other. That season, we just knew we was going to go up, get into the playoffs, and if we got into that stage again. We just knew that in the final that we'll win.
Yeah.
Weird feeling.
And what's it like going out? I know it was at Cardiff, but not at Wembley, but still the same thing. Sort of knowing, well, both sides really, because you walked out twice with West Ham. Knowing that after 90 minutes you could be a Premier League player. That's like all your dreams come true. Yeah,
but to be fair, obviously you're saying it was at the time Cardiff was amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Loved it.
The stadium was unreal. We played there 3 times, I think it was. Yeah. It was crazy. What a good 4 years that I had. But yeah, coming out in that stadium in the playoff final, we in the change room, we just knew that it was our time because we've been in this stage before, and we know what it took to obviously get to a Premier League.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, and it's true. Yeah, I think I had the same car park space 3 years in a row, and it was always Ipswich, wasn't it? Always Ipswich in the. I don't know why it was Ipswich, but those games people still talk about as being the best games they've seen from an atmosphere with West Ham.
It was unreal. To be fair, me and Bobby had a bit of a formula going. We had an understanding.
Yeah,
he's a great lad. We just knew where each other wanted to be and where we wanted the ball and stuff like that. And we just formed a good partnership.
Yeah, no, you did, man. It was good. And as I said, so then obviously you go up, and you still we're in the Premier League now, and everyone's like a bit worried, but you're still not being top goal scorer for us that season. I think 14 goals or something like that season. We did all right in the Premier League, and then we ended up in the FA Cup final. And so we're off to Cardiff again. We know the way by then. We don't need to sat nav it. We know the way there. That literally from where you were to where 3 years, like 2 or 3 seasons later. 3 seasons. Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah.
Obviously, people ask me the question of probably one of your questions. What club was the best? It's just West Ham. Them 3 years.
I know the answer already, Maz. Don't worry.
Yeah, them 3 years, like you said, it was just incredible. Yet again, Pards recruited well, and how he dealt with the players, the caliber players. We had a lot of characters in our dressing room, a lot of them, and he dealt with them very, very well. Just to form a good team bonding, and the lads looked after each other, and it showed on the pitch. Obviously, like you said, going to the Premier League, and we just had no fear. situation. To be fair, the West Ham fans helped that situation in the way their passion and how they are about the club. So we knew when we go out there, we have to give 110% every game. It meant something to them that we needed to win, and I think that showed getting to the final.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as I said, you've walked out that same tunnel 3 times in a row. That third time, FA Cup final. I mean, you were like, as a kid, that's what you watched is the FA Cup final, isn't it? You must have been.
It's just crazy. That's obviously a cliche thing. Dreams do come true, but yeah, that was one of them for me growing up, watching FA Cup finals and stuff like that, and actually to do it myself was amazing. And during that time, excuse me, going up 2-0 up, obviously I'm looking at Dino and he's looking at me, and we're like, "This is for real!" Like we're 2-0 in the FA Cup final.
There was about 40,000 people doing the same thing, Marlon, at the same time.
It's crazy. Really crazy.
I know. We had Conch on, and Conch has finally admitted that it was a cross, not a shot.
Did he admit it? Yeah.
He admitted it. He said, at the end of the day, right, if I'd scored that like last season, you can sort of, because there's some crazy goals, the ball does crazy things. You could probably think, oh, that was it, but no, it wasn't scored last season. But yeah, no, it was absolutely mental. And as you said, one of those things in it, like our dreams, they fade and die, don't they, Marlon? When you war songs about things fading and dying, unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't.
Scaloni, just clear it.
Yeah, poor lad. He's such a good lad as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and he has just won the Copa America, so he's done all right.
Distraught he was.
We'll claim it. Yeah, it was distraught, same as everyone. And obviously, I have that vision, Maz, of literally that. I was there, and you had one leg left up by the end of the game, didn't you? Yeah. And the wrong leg. I was like, oh, I was there. No,
but it's literally when you talk to a West Ham fan now, that's all they remember. They don't remember the 90 minutes or the extra time. Literally remember me swinging my left chocolate foot leg when it was broken. That's the only moment they think about. I'm like, God, there's been 8 goals. Was it 8?
7 goals. Was it?
Yeah.
7 yeah.
Unbelievable. And that's the only moment they remember.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible. But for you, my memory of you playing for West Ham is literally I used to call it Harewood corner. So between the whatever they called it that week, the Dr. Martins or the Betway, whatever they called it, stand, and the Bobby Moore stand, that's where our box was. So obviously we're underneath the scoreboard. That's it. And that was Harewood corner, because you'd always drag the ball in there, little trick along the byline every time. Harewood corner. Every time, man.
Got some good goals down that corner as well.
Got some great goals. I mean, let's include. I mean, one of the questions someone asked is about that semi-final goal. I mean, again, that goal, the goal that took us into the FA Cup, that is stuff that schoolboys dream of doing that, isn't it?
And it's just a combination of things. Obviously, learned through training with pros that I've had, Bobby, Teddy, Dino. We just had an understanding and working together. And like the flick on from Dino, I just knew I had to get onto that ball, if you get what I mean. So when he flicked it, I just knew I had to get my touch, and then I had Southgate there, and I just had to. It's just one of them moments that your touch has got to be forward, and then you got to hit it as hard as you can, and literally I hit it as hard as I can, especially on my left foot. And it's just one of them moments that you never think about, forget the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's, as you said, there was such a great dressing room when you were there. As you said, it was a real great. I remember we had Nige we had Coke on a while ago, and he was talking about the dressing room as well. In fact, you had this sort of really amazing blend. You had a lot of sort of young players like yourselves. You had even younger players like Nige. Really, you had guys like Teddy Sheringham. I mean, the span of age groups. And it's obviously the first season you joined, still had Carrick in there and Defoe. And I mean, a question I think Andy said about Teddy. Where is it? No, Carl actually. What was it like playing with Teddy? Yeah, because he must have been an incredible influence on your.
Unbelievable. It's weird to explain. As a pro, you would understand the language.
Sure.
When you watch him and how it is. Obviously, when you see him as a fan, you see how really good he is. But in training, just everything he brings to the game, and he's talking and explaining to you, and
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. I think I can't remember who he spoke to. It was one of someone, and he said how Teddy was like, he was one of those guys where he'd be the one badgering you to go and get an extra, bit money on your contract, where they'll be dragging you to the manager's office, and because he knew how it worked, and
it just Teddy was to be. It'll just help you any way you needed.
Yeah, totally. And obviously, we said on the little sort of highlighting that sort of intro thing, Hammer of the Year runner-up in 2006. Now we've had quite a few guys who have won Hammer of the Year who have been runners-up. What's it like as a player being voted one of the best players for their, for the team that season? It must be a bizarre thing.
Well, I wouldn't say bizarre. It's a special moment for that person. It's a special moment for me. But Matthew Everton, I think, won it.
Yeah.
He had an unbelievable year as a winger, and his assists and what he's achieved that year. Because he helped me. He helped me get my goals with performances and his crosses and how he worked so hard. So you can't really turn something like down. To get runners up, I was quite privileged to get runners up. But Matty that year was unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's still, as I said, runner up. That's it's one of the top two. It's the second winner. Yeah,
no, it was decent to have that, but you can't grumble on the way Matty played.
No. I mean, he was to me. He was one of the last proper wingers we had at West Ham. Not, left-footed, put him on the left. He crossed it in for your job done. And obviously going into the Premier League, we sort of after that sort of struggled a little bit. Obviously, in terms of, I always remember the one goal I always remember of yours. It's not really the goal; it's the aftermath. Was the Arsenal goal when it all kicked off between Pards and.
It's mad, isn't it? To be fair, I didn't even know about that until we got in and sat down in the change rooms, and obviously we got a TV up and it shows all the highlights and stuff. I didn't know that. I just asked the question. It was Pards and thing having it out on the touchline after I scored. It was, and then obviously you see what happened.
Brilliant, so funny. Do you know what? And I know some people criticise Pards his time at West Ham and things like that. But you said,
right?
Well, I think some people not necessarily. I think
it's an odd thing to say because we've got. But we're talking now.
But some people.
To a final
I totally agree.
Every year, so
totally
surely that's what you'd want. Of your manager.
I know you do.
No?
Maz, I'm the same, man. I'm the same. But people, because in certain tenures, people, it's like when you look back at someone like Big Sam's era, a lot of people criticise Big Sam as being a West Ham manager, but he got us up into the Premier League, and he got us a solid base to be a Premier League team. Yeah. Same as Curbs as well. I mean, Curbs kept us up in the Great Escape and things like that. So for me, it's but I mean, Pards, obviously, I loved Pards. Yeah. I loved him because he was the only one. I mean, I've been doing this. I've been working at West Ham for I think it's my 21st season coming up now. He's the only manager who gave a shit about what music we play, because obviously he wanted to make sure everything. So literally pretty much every game, me and Jem would be in his little crappy manager's office. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he'd be saying, "So Russ, what's what we playing today?" And I'll be like, "I don't know, this," and he was like, "What about a bit of Frank Sinatra?"
It's interesting you say stuff like that because as a manager, like obviously supporters, I love talking about stuff like this. It's like I ask you the question. So what would you rather do? Play nice and don't be doing much that season, and obviously survive, play mid-tech, or I don't know, Pards giving it a go and get into a finals every year.
That's what I mean.
What would you want? Because obviously you're saying fans weren't happy with him or weren't having him.
For me, I am very much. Anyone who's on the touchline at West Ham, I will be 100% behind because they are leading our team. And actually, for us, I think sometimes we get a little bit not above our station. That's the wrong expression, but sometimes I think, for us, good cup run.
Yeah,
Premier League, so get 10th, 11th. I mean, this season's last season was very different, very different. But this, 9th, 8th, something like that. Good cup run, and Pards did it. He did have the label being. I think he called himself Chocolate, or people called him Chocolate as well. Yeah. And that's him, and how he tends. But obviously, similarly at other clubs, he's made a big difference, and then it's all fallen by the wayside. it's just happened at other clubs. For me, I think Pards was brilliant, and as I said, I really enjoyed my time at. I think that's why you're one of the most requested people we've had to come on the channel, because as you said, we got to the playoff final, we lost. We won the playoff final that season. The following season, we got to the FA Cup and the Premier League. In our recent history, or for the last 40 years, that's probably our most successful bit, bar this season.
Amazing, mate. Them 4 years I had, and obviously at the end of it, we were fighting relegation.
That's the West Ham way, though, man, isn't it? That is it.
I can't really grumble in the 4 years of being at our club that how, like, I don't know what's the word, extreme it was for the whole season.
Eventful.
And I remember the second season. I remember on the pitch and I was like screaming. That was a long old season. I remember because it was such hard work that season was. Obviously getting to the playoffs and then getting promoted to the Premier League. It's just like what Pards was there to do, and that's what he told me he would do when he signed me. He says, "I want to get back to the Premier League. I'm making you my number one striker." And I thank him for it because he made my time at West Ham amazing, literally amazing.
And I think also with him, I think and also I think, to be fair, I mean, obviously we've interviewed some players who were under Pards' stewardship and were promised things and they didn't happen. But then that's football. That's football, So that happens.
Sometimes, but still, the lads that we had there were still together. I know it's hard sometimes for managers and with players because every player wants to play, and I feel sorry for some of them if they're not playing. But at the same time, the lads we had a togetherness, and that sometimes that goes badly for clubs if you've got a player that doesn't want to play, can upset the situation. But we didn't have that because all the lads was backing each other.
They did, man. And as I said, I think also we learned from obviously we spoke to a few people in your squads, and obviously from that first playoff where it was all the suits and it was all the video, the vlogs and all that time. And next time it was just like business, track suits, get it done.
We're here,
You sort of learned from that, didn't
literally, see? You've said it right there. You don't need to interview me, so you know already.
It's not, Mark. I could have just done it myself, but no, it's true. It's true, man. And I think, there just seemed to be, it was a real. There's some parallels to like the team now, as you said, to a togetherness. There was a togetherness, maybe not, but it's more of an internal togetherness. Do you know what I mean? As you said, it's like you on the pitch. Someone like Nige wouldn't say he'd be. Ria Coker wouldn't necessarily be one of those guys who are going to be banging the shirt and doing all this, but internally, all of you together were just a real tight unit.
Nigel was an amazing captain.
Yeah.
From inside, obviously, he got a bit of stick during the end of his career at West Ham. But he was unbelievable. He looked after everyone, make sure everyone was right. He did everything. He was probably one of my best captains at West Ham.
Yeah. Considering he was so young as well.
Very. He had a great leadership.
And obviously, both of your times were so inherently ingrained with West Ham that you can only play for teams with claret and blue because you went both into Villa.
Went on and gone somewhere else. God,
was that tough, man? Was that tough, or was you ready?
It was tough. It was tough. Obviously, Curbs come in. He had his own thoughts what he wanted to do, and then I just had an opportunity to play with Martin O'Neill. Obviously, coming from Nottingham Forest, he's a Forest legend. So. To obviously go to that after West Ham, we can't really turn things like that down again. So it was massive for me, especially to join Aston Villa.
And obviously being part of that, great escapers. I mean, as I said, you've bloody got it all. Literally, you've ticked it all. You've got like promotion, promote your playoff.
Times, mate. It was literally good times. I'll tell you seriously. If you talk to any of the lads from our era, I'll guarantee you they'll say it was good times, just because in the footballing career situation, we did it all at West Ham at that time.
Nige said the same thing, because literally he was around the same time. I think his tenure is very similar to yours. He's literally that is the most intense period I've had in terms of highs and lows. We literally every year we had something going for us. And it's interesting. We said we've had Anton on and various others, and then they talk about that sort of the playoffs, but then talk about sort of the great escape as well. And I've just finished a book. Someone wrote a whole book about that season. It was a funny old season, your last season. Very strange.
It was madness. It was quite crazy, really crazy that season was.
I mean, what was it like turning up for training and look, there's Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano there?
That was very strange, to be fair. Not knowing who they was at the time. Apologise to the lads because they were fantastic lads. I don't think they even know what they were getting themselves into because they're obviously owned and finding out what actually happened to them and where they came from. But they were two fantastic players.
Yeah,
what they've gone on to do in their careers shows how good they were. Felt sorry for them in a way, obviously coming in, and then it sort of upset the apple cart at West Ham with them coming in because I think Pardew was under pressure to play them.
Yeah.
And he didn't really want to because he obviously got likes of Hayden Mullins and everyone else playing before them. Obviously didn't know what they were actually capable of doing, but we still survived and we did really well. And Carlos was one of the main people that kept West Ham in the Premier League. So it worked out in the end.
And what's it like for when? Because obviously you came in so. I mean, basically you were Pardew's main man. You was his, and then Pardew to go and Curbs to come in. I mean, what's it like for a player when a new manager comes in? Do you feel like, Christ, I've got to start all at zero again? Or is it like, right, I'm going to just carry on doing what I'm doing and what happens, happens?
Yeah, yes and no. What you just said there is part of that. But at the same time, you know what you're capable of. And then you just have to go and do your bit and make sure that he has a hard choice to not play you. And if someone else comes in his spot, and then when you take your place, again, you have to show him that you should be there than him. It's at the end of the day, managers have their own ways they want to play and not play. So, and if you're not part of that, then you just have to try and go somewhere where you can make a team, you can be part of that team.
Yeah, and you tell you what, I never made the connection with Mike O'Neill and Nottingham Forest and Villa. It's like, I can so see why you'd want to, as a Forest, as coming through the Forest ranks, like O'Neill was like one of the boys, and it's like, totally makes sense. Right, quick question from Andy. Andy asks, who was the toughest centre back you played against?
Toughest? That's a good question because I've played quite a few. When I was 18, 19. I made my debut in the Premier League with Nottingham Forest, and I was up against Tony Adams and Martin Keown.
Wow!
It was daunting, really. That was my first experience. Both them two, they weren't scared to let you know they were coming straight through you. That was sort of old school methods. And then I went on in my career. Then I obviously playing against like Rio, John Terry, Desai, Vincent Kompany, Village. I think that was the toughest one. Village and Rio.
Yeah,
them two as a partnership was quite scary and solid. To be fair, I loved old school playing centre half, battling with your centre half, centre forward battling against his centre half. That was just me, like tense of strength, and that was a tough one. Them two.
So you've got the physical presence, to be honest, Maz, isn't it? In terms of against, you're not like Jermaine, bless him. It's like you could stand up to these guys, but
I'll say them two were the physical battle that I've had.
That's a good question. Yeah, well done, Andy. Right, let's go and talk about your 11, Marlon. So obviously, everyone we have on the channel, bar Nigel. Actually, Nigel didn't do an 11. He chickened out. Who else? Harry Red. Yeah, he did. I don't think Nigel really understood what was going on, to be honest.
Yeah,
too many of them cigars.
No, probably. It's gone to his head. He's loving them now.
Oh.
God, he's like on them like anything.
He loves a cigar, doesn't it? And they're never small ones. They're those cigarellos. They're proper like cube. That's the wrong picture to do, but yeah. But yeah, so everyone we've done, apart from Nigel, I think Harry Redknapp didn't do one, and Ian Bishop, but everyone else has done one. We put an 11 together. So the idea is that the players you played with, as I said, you've had probably sort of 2 or 3 different eras, really. Coming sort of that first era for the playoffs that we lost, then the second, and then obviously towards the end as well. That sort of 3 eras, lots of players, and it's only a bit of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so between the sticks, who's going in?
Oh, it's a hard one because obviously Stevie Bywater, Jimmy Walker, I had Rob Green and Shaka Hislop. But I think the games that meant a lot to us more, I think Shaka was in there more than anyone else. So, and he was like a solid person that you can, when you have a keeper like that in your goal, and the defense he's the nicest man possible.
I love Shaqs.
He would be my keeper.
And I always say it's about Shaqs. So when I used to live in Loughton, I used to work. This was the first time, not his second time, his first time with us. He every Friday, I used to work at Safe. Do you remember Safeways? Do you remember Safeways?
Yeah.
So I used to work in Safeways in that when I was about 15.
Are they still open? Safeway still open?
No, I don't think so. Is it?
No,
It took over. I don't know. Might still be. Maybe. Maybe it's one of those random ones. You know, like when you go down like somewhere in, I don't know, Weymouth, and there's a C&A still there, or it's just a random brand. But anyway, so say and every Friday, if West Ham are playing at home, he would do his big shop, and I loved that. He'd go there and you'd see him because he was so tall. His head would be over the stand, and I would always make sure I was at the till. I loved him. I love Shax. He's so cool. He's the most relaxed, like laid back bloke I've ever met.
Yeah, no, he's so chilled out. I think that's the Caribbean in him.
Yeah. Although when I interviewed him, I think it was because he lives at the East Coast, doesn't he? And it was about 30, 38, something like that in New York, and his air conditioning was broke, so he was like dripping sweat. Bless him. I loved it though. Right, okay, put Shax in. Let's go defense. Let's go. I know. Left back.
There's only one left back. Come on, the old Conchi. Definitely.
Oh, he'll be happy. Yeah,
no, that left foot of a wand, and his engine was phenomenal. One of the fittest guys I know. Conch was amazing at left back for us at that time.
He really was. He was, he was so. I don't think he gets enough credit because he sort of came in between a few. We had obviously we had people like Julian.
No, enough credit. No,
I think
one of them. I don't know what times will like be like Dixie and stuff like that, but
that's what I mean.
Bar Dixie, I would say Conch is right up there.
No, I agree because there's sort of that period. You had like him, you had George McCartney played, and then you had then it came a few more Clark, like Clive Clark and people like that, sort of bit part players, and then Crest came in, and so. But I think Conch. Oh, I love him. I love Conch, and that's what I love about. That's what I love about a lot of the West Ham players is a lot of their kids are in the school. Obviously his kids in the academy there.
Doing really well.
It's great, and he's obviously now in charge of he's the coach of the women's team now, or
assistant coach.
Love it, and all like Zabs and Colton. It's brilliant, man. It's brilliant. Right, okay. Conch is left back. Let's go right back then.
Right back will have to be between. Oh, there was a few, but I would have to put Danny Gabardon there.
Oh, I'm gonna put Gabs in.
Let's put Gabs there.
I like Gabs. Got to find his name. There we go. Yeah, that's one thing. Hasn't happened after when lockdown first happened. Gabs was all over Insta doing his DJ sets. He hasn't done any more now.
No, he hasn't. There's got that. He's very much social media, which he's very good at punditry. He is very good.
He is. He's coming on soon. But Gabs is like, I used to love his little DJ sets in his loft. It's great. He's just like had a whale of a time. But
pastime.
Top player, lovely guy. Right, okay, we'll put him in right back. Who's going to go? Who's your first centre half then?
It'll probably be Ginge on the left.
Nice.
James Collins.
Top man.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
great in the dressing rooms. Great to have. Solid, sort of an old school and a new school centre half.
Yes,
got two great feet. He loves to tackle, can edit, kick it. He's proper.
Yeah, and I think when he came back for his second term at West Ham, he was more old school. Maybe he was a bit older as well when he came back, and I think spending that sort of time with Richard Dunn as well at Villa made him into more of a.
More of a solid, He had
the beard, he had the shaven head. He came back and he was just like so. I love Ginge, lovely bloke. Right, okay, we'll put Ginge on the left. Then who's going to go on the right then?
Anton Ferdinand.
Oh, he'll be happy.
That's my boy.
That's right.
To be fair, I felt sorry for Anton because obviously it's hard for him when you got a brother like Rio.
Yeah.
That was his name, Frio, really, because every time Rio had something, 3 weeks later.
That's what Bobby called him. 3 weeks. He called it 3 weeks.
Yeah, Frio was what happened. So, but he stood up for himself, being his own person, his own man. A great defender, solid, quick. Yeah, he did well. Did very well.
Top man. Yeah, top man. Lovely bloke. And it's really because when we interviewed him, he spoke about. I didn't sort of bring it up, so to speak. So I thought he must be sort of really pissed off about. Really not annoyed, but it's the same questions. But he just said, it was tough because he's in the same position, the same He was in the same shirt. He'd been, and people remember like Rio joining the academy. Anton was there, holding his tail string. 3 years younger. Do you know what I mean? So if anything, he was more into it. Must have been awful, but I mean, it's sort of a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? Really. Right. Okay. Nice. Let's go into midfield then. Right. Let's go left wing. I could probably guess the left wing based on what we've always spoken about. Maybe.
Yes, Matty Everton. Come on, definitely. Can't. Don't make him like him anymore. To be fair, the game sort of changed where you're having a left winger that's like going at your right back and putting crosses in, and it's not like that anymore. But
why is that, Marlon? Why is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's a shame though, because the right back and left backs, or if it's wing backs or whatever you call them, they're so high up. But if you've got an out and out left winger, he ain't gonna be going up that far anymore. Because if you got to do a job and you got to defend. So like you got right and left backs in people's boxes and scoring goals now. So, but I'm sure if they had a Matthew Everton against them, I don't think they'll be doing that very often.
No, or they'll put them on the right side into the left side, won't they? Sort of inverted. Yeah. I don't get it. Football's can be such an easy game. I think we overcomplicate it by doing these things. But that's why I love Matty, because he said it was sort of like we'd had a whole range of people like Stan Lazaridis and Matty Holmes and Matty Rush, and these guys were proper like speedsters, and then Matty was like a bit of a knockback to that, but I loved him, absolutely loved him. He's a lovely guy as well. And I've been funny, it's like, we've had over 80 like player interviews. It's mental. But not, everyone's a lovely bloke, what I mean, or a lovely lady. Sorry, Kate, we're Kate Longhurst as well, but everyone's a lovely bloke and a lovely lady. None of them are assholes, you know what I mean?
Not in that dressing room. We wouldn't allow it, to be fair.
Yeah.
If someone was that way inclined in their mindset, we would have changed them, or they would have been out. That's how the dressing room was.
Love it. Yeah, it's a good point. Right, I'll put Matty on the left. Let's go with who's going to be on the right side then?
Yossi Benayoun.
Oh, man. Oh, Yossi. I love Yossi.
A little genius. Genius he is. For how small he was, and how technical he was, and how strong he got in. He just got into us. He was in our. He was the nicest guy, probably the nicest guy in that dressing room. He would literally do anything for anybody, and he just grew into our way of playing. And if there was a tackle to be made, such a small lad, he will make it.
Yes.
If the fight, he will fight, and then he'll bring all his magical skills into a game. He loved a chop and a chop again and a chop. It just makes people. It's just so, Yossi Benayoun.
I think of Yossi as well. I mean, he's some guy who, and to be honest, I think he might have been someone like Anton, it could have been Bobby, someone like that. And he said, what would surprise you about Yossi is, as you said, loved to tackle, loved a bit of the aggro. And him and Matty, bless him.
Shy.
Yeah, but they look like they could. I mean, both of them are very, bag of, bless them. It looks like if a strong wind comes, they'll fall over. But Yossi was like, And I went back and watched it, and he put it about. Yossi did. Oh,
he did.
Oh, I love him. What a great player. Right, centre mid. Who's your first centre mid?
I'll have to start off with Hayden Mullins.
Yes,
the holding man, the number 4 that everyone calls now. He was Mr. Cash. He was just so casual, popping. I think he's one of the players that really got underrated at West Ham. But we knew what he did for us, picking up things and little passes and stuff, and he was there when we needed him.
He's one of those players, and I think it was when we interviewed Bob or someone like that. I said to him, because we've interviewed like yourself, Bobby, Anton, like even people like Luke Chadwick, people like that. Everyone put Hayden. I think Luke Chadwick put him right back just to get him in the team. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but West, as you said, if someone, a fan gives their 11, he'd appear, and it's because, and Bobby said because fans don't understand football, but I don't think. I think what he meant to say was fans didn't understand what he did, what he brought to the team.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
I don't understand football fans, Bob.
That's the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
But no, Hayden, he did a lot. When we're in that pitch, you can be reliable for him in his position and what he had to do as a number 4. He was up, he was down, he's helping defence, picking up things. He was decent.
Yeah, and I think, and obviously, famously, there was that punch up the week before the FA Cup final, where him and Louis Garcia got sent off. And for Liverpool, I don't think they give a shit that Louis Garcia was. But for us, I truly believe if he didn't get sent off, we would have won the FA Cup because of what he brings to the team, innit? So
true. Oh yeah, because
Fletch
came in, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, Fletch was a great player, but
he did well. To be fair, he came in, and that's what I'm trying to say. The squad we had, he came in and did a job.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, considering he didn't play majority of the season.
No, Fletcher, you're right, man. You're right. But yeah, Mullins was top notch.
Yeah.
And now he's obviously Colchester manager now, so
I know he's doing really well for himself.
Good luck to him.
So pleased for him.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we've got one more spot. Who's going to the midfield? Who's that last spot?
Come on, it's Captain Nigel.
Do.
Yeah, Captain Nigel Coker. Yeah, this guy. He another one that we had in our team that had a fantastic engine, strong in the midfield, liked to work hard, making tackles when they need to. I always remember the game at Highbury, and Nigel, he was just on one that game, which was just fantastic because the players he was playing against, the caliber, and he just took it on. It was awesome that day.
I think that game was just an awesome game, wasn't it? I think
how strong he was and where he ran through, and just he had no fear. So
I think that's exactly it. No fear. And I mean you had I remember looking at the game again because who did we have on? And they spoke about it. I can't remember. But obviously, famously, that was the last game. Was that the last of Emirates, or something to do with Emirates?
It's the last game of
Highbury. Always go down. West Ham always do that, innit?
Yeah.
That or Spurs or whatever. We always put that stuck in. But yeah, that was a different class, that game. Right. Okay. So there's a nice midfield. Right. Okay. Up front, first striker. Who are we having?
So with the strikers, am I joining a striker or is it having two?
You can put yourself.
I'm asking him if I'm joining, or is there? I'll put two in there.
It's your team, man. It's your team. Do it what you want.
I'm asking you because
that's not my team. It's not DJ Rusty B's 11.
Put themselves in there, or have they?
Some do, some do, some don't. Some do, some don't. Who did?
This what I mean.
I don't think you did. I don't think.
This is a hard one for me. This is.
Okay.
No, actually, I'll make it easier. I'm going to have to put myself because there's only one person I will want to pay up front with. Because if I put him and then someone else, then I'm going to be leaving other players out that I think that could be in there. So no, I think I'll put myself.
Well, put yourself in. Okay, 56 goals, 170 appearances. 1 in 3, over 1 in 3. That's not a bad return.
Not bad. No, I'll take that. I won't grumble in my career. I've enjoyed it, and I would never I wouldn't frown upon that. It's quite a decent ratio.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a very diplomatic thing to do. Because I probably know who you'd pick otherwise, and you'd miss one out. And then right. Okay. So who's the other striker you would love to partner with then?
Yes. And see, this is now because obviously playing with Teddy, playing with Colton Cole, playing with Dino, playing with Jermaine Defoe, playing with all them. It's just it was good. It was exciting. But I didn't have the connection. I did have a connection, but not as much as I had with Bobby.
Yeah.
And Bobby Z was just, I don't know, we just had a great understanding on and off the pitch because he sat next to me, obviously in the change rooms, and he's just a phenomenal guy, and he loves a winner. He just loves a winner, like £1 Million Bob. That's what I'm going to start calling him every time. He's always in the right position to get that goal. What other club he's been to, he's always been that guy.
Do you know what? I said to him when I interviewed him, he's probably got goals to money ratio in terms of the goals he scored to what they're worth. He scored the winner in 2004-05 season to promote us in the Premier.
Yeah,
the same thing for QPR, and so that's like 300 million quid worth in two goals. Europa League as well. I think he scored the semi-final to get into the final. So he must get off half a million on 3 goals.
Easy.
Mental.
So mental. He would have to be my choice.
Yeah. He'll be happy because you'll probably see him when you doing this football escape soon. So
Yeah,
right.
he's here tomorrow. He's literally here tomorrow. And he's always having the games and stuff. So I need to beat him.
Yeah, he'll be happy then. He'll be happy. Right. So there we go, man. Nice team. Love it, Maz. And do you know what? Sometimes you look at teams and it just brings me back to like a really happy time. It was a really fun time to be a West Ham fan.
It was so good, mate. It was so good in the dressing room. And it's like a 4-4-2. Like, I love that. And I love playing up with a striker.
Yeah.
It's so good. But obviously everyone plays one up front. And I really don't understand it.
No, I don't get it.
Centre halves today have a massive jolly up. Like, I know they still have good games and it's hard, but
yeah,
they don't have that battle or knowing where to be. And if you've got two of them up there, they've got to deal with one striker. Yeah. So surely they should do good against one striker.
Yeah. But then you get the wingers come in, and now, as you said, like the fullbacks are not fullbacks; they're wingers, and you know it's one of those things. I just find football could be so simple, as you said. You know, Big Matt, you with Defoe, or you and Bobby, and just getting Etherington whipping the balls in. You either get him in or you knock them down to Defoe. It's a simple game. It's a simple game, man. But anyway. Yeah. Anyway, man, thank you so much, Tom. I know you've absolutely shattered. So you can have a cup of tea and have a kip before dinner time. But I really, really appreciate your time.
No, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
And obviously, thank you to everyone for
glad
watching.
We got it in.
So a year in the making. Doesn't matter, man. Good things come to those that wait.
So true stories.
So for myself and for Maz, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jab appointments. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much.